Okay, in this video, another demonstration is given using your graphing calculator to solve inequalities. This time, we'll be solving -2 times x plus 4 is greater than 6x plus 24 using the graphing calculator. So the very first function that we're going to enter is the left side, the expression -2 times x plus 4. Now there's no specific symbols here that, change the shape or dictate the shape. So since this x is first degree, you're going to see a straight line here. And the other side is going to be the same. It's a linear expression with no specific symbols that give it a particular shape. So we're going to enter each of these. One is y1, one is y2, and we're going to look for where this expression, the left side, is above the 6x plus 24, which will be the other line. They're both going to be lines. We're going to look for what portion of this line is above, because that's what greater than means, is above the other line. Okay, so let's get the graph by entering the expressions. And the left side is -2 times x plus 4. And then on the right side, it is 6x plus 24. I have a standard window here. That is the first line, -2 times x plus 4. And the second line that you saw was the 6x plus 24. I'm going to transfer that over to the paper just so we can talk about where is it above, what portion are we looking for that's above the other one. So you had basically two graphs. I'm just going to make, a real quick sketch here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one that went like that. And then there was another one that went like this. So just transferring it over to the paper, not getting too crazy with detail. Notice that the very first graph, if you were watching it, the very first graph is the one that went like this to the left, which we know this has to be this line right here because it has a negative slope. -2 times x means it has a negative slope, which means that it climbs this way. So this is my y1 function, which was equal to the -2 times x plus 4. I'll just label them. And then the other one was the y sub 2 that I entered, which was the 6x plus 24. Let's recall that the question that was being asked is, where is this line above, which is greater than, where is it above the other line, which would only be this portion. Okay, this is your line, 6x plus 24, and we're interested in what portion of this line is above the other line, so that you're actually looking at x values that are greater than 6x plus 24. So we want to know all the x values associated with this portion right here. So therefore, in order to begin talking about all the x's that are along this portion or along this interval of x's, because there are many, many x values associated with this colored in portion, we have to know where that portion begins, and that would be this intersection point. So we are going to look for that intersection point, again, using second calculate as I demonstrated in a previous problem. Okay, so we're going to go second calculate. We're going to go down to intersect. It'll say, am I on one of the curves? That blinker is on one of the curves. Then it'll say, am I on the other curve? Yes, it's on the other curve. Would you like me to guess? Yes. It says that the x value at which these two lines intersect is -4. So we can see that they intersect at -4. So all these x values that are on the portion that's above the other line, in other words, greater than the other line, they start at -4. And this is what we call going off to -infinity, because eventually that line gets further and further out in the negative direction. So we say that this climbs to negative infinity and then goes to a point at where the x value is -4, and then that's the end of this portion that is above the other line. This is below, this is above. So your answer is negative infinity all the way to -4. And then that part of the graph that's all that satisfies being above the other line. If you want to check this algebraically, you can. This is the answer that we got graphically. And you can also check it algebraically by solving it the other way. So if we were solving this without a graph, we would just go -2 times x, -2 times 4. We would bring our greater than symbol down. We would have 6x plus 24, and we should get the same answer that we saw on the graph. We would bring all x's to one side. You can bring them to the left or to the right. That's your choice. We would have a 24 here, a -8x minus 8 here. After adding 8 to both sides, we would have -8x is greater than or equal to 32. And then upon dividing both sides by a negative, don't forget that when you divide by a negative, it switches the direction of the inequality. So this would end up being x is less than -4. So what does that mean when you put it in interval notation? Well, if we think of what we use to help us get the interval notation correct, we would put it on a number line, all the solutions. Everything that is -4 and less means that it starts at -4 and goes all the way to negative infinity. So you can see that we have verified the solution that we got up here. Everything from negative infinity to -4 would be the solution, whether you are doing it algebraically or whether you're doing it graphically.